Sup, my friends, and welcome back to the Dragon's Lair. This is the Taoist Dragon, but you can call me Toasty! After saying that I fucked up last time doing my questions and answers, I fucked up even more. Because for one of the questions, the multi-part question, there was 2 questions that I didn't even answer. So I'm going to do that, and then afterwards, I was also asked to do the personality test. I forget what it's called, but it's like the INFP, the whatever. It's like one of the official ones. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't know. For me, my planning is much less like having a concrete plan, as much as it's having the goals and stuff that I need to work towards being there. But I like to keep things malleable, just in case stuff falls through. So when I do plans and stuff, I don't even really think about where am I going to be in 5 years. I have a general idea of things that should be done in 5 years, or by 5 years, like school should be done, I should be a teacher or be a YouTuber, you know. If YouTube and stuff doesn't pan out in 5 years, and I would be 29 by then, it's not too late for me to still try to get something out of it, but that's getting to the point where if it's not a job or something, that my attention needs to be focused elsewhere into getting something that I can build a base off of. The thing about this question is it's just hard for me to answer, and I just don't really see the world that way. I'm not really concerned with what the future looks like. Don't really want to live life on a timeline. I already live it too much on a timeline, you know, like the beginning, the middle, the end. Life is going to go by, and I just want to make sure that I live it. I don't care where I am in 5 years, as long as I can look back and be like, I made the effort to be the best me I could be. And do I have hope for humanity? I never lost hope for humanity. Humanity is humanity, and I truly believe that people are amazing and beautiful. But yes, we can do some pretty terrible things. There is even a bright side to the worst things, and I know that's a very unpopular opinion, and it's never that I would be supportive of someone or something doing something really terrible. But in the end, it works out, and it's going to work out. And I mean, everything eventually is just going to be gone. I mean, you can look at stories of people who are going through tough times, banding together and uniting. Like, it brings out the good in people or whatever. I just view that as subjective, and it's us putting terms to that. And admittedly, I would like to see people working together and loving one each other a lot more than I would like to see hate and stuff. And it really bothers me when people hate on one another, when people judge one another. It's one of the things that really gets me going, and there's not a whole lot of things like that in the world. It's pretty much just that. So I don't feel like pain is necessary to get things moving for growth. I just feel that pain, it won't stop it if you don't let it stop it. Just like good things won't stop growth if you don't let it stop it. You know, the theory of once you're content, you know, you get lazy. And that could be true for some people. And that's why something that's quote-unquote good may not be good, because it's really how you take it. It's how you make it. What you make it out to be is what it will become. And we're going to move on to the quiz now. Before I do this transition, I just want to say that as of tomorrow, as this video being uploaded, that I won't have an episode because I have a class, and yeah, I just need to focus on a test, is what I meant to say. I have a test, and I need to focus on that. So, as of tomorrow, as this episode being uploaded, there won't be an episode. So I just wanted to say that. Alright, here we are. And this will be a lot more fun than that first part. I got pretty serious with those questions, but... But alright, let's just do this. It says, you find it difficult to introduce yourself to new people. Somewhat. I don't like to intrude on others, so sometimes I'm a little tentative, unless I know the situation's like, okay, this is good. But not really. Especially if I know, like, socially speaking, it's like all the green light and whatever. So I would say that I mildly disagree. No, you know what, to be honest, I mildly agree. It's hard for me to take the initiative if it's like morally. If it's just like ambiguous and stuff. Okay, you have to get lost in your thoughts so lost in your thoughts that you ignore or forget your surroundings. Yeah, I'm just going to go with slightly disagree with that. I mean, it happens on occasion, but not a whole lot. You try to respond to emails as soon as possible and can't stand a messy inbox. Nah, I don't even pay attention to my email. You can find it easy to stay relaxed even when there's some pressure. Yeah, particularly if there's a big pressure. I can handle like really extreme pressure pretty well. There's the story, but here I am at work and I'm sitting on my laptop, right? Doing my things, and then BAM! There's just this loud noise and I hear a scream and dust is starting to settle in. I mean, this is all like the span of a second. So I turn around like, and there's a car in the building where the table is supposed to be, you know, the table that the person was sitting at. I'm like, huh. So I look there, I see that the car's not moving, I see everything's fine, everybody's fine. So I just turn back, and I go on my computer. And that was like in a span of like 4 seconds. And I'm going to just say agree. Mostly agree. But yeah, part of what has kept me from handling pressure as best as I could in the past is that I had a lot going on mentally, and so it's just adding too much. So especially like the little pressures, they just added up, and I would just shut down. I'd be like, I don't want to deal with this. Mostly because I didn't feel it was worth my time, or that it was even possible for me to deal with everything. That's why it's important, people, to talk about what's going on with you and don't let it just build up inside. I said I wasn't going to get serious, but it's just that one thing, because that's important to me. You do not usually initiate conversations. That's untrue. I initiate most of my conversations. Yeah, it's just mostly agree. I initiate most of them. It's not because I want to or don't want to. It's just that I usually have to, because otherwise the people that I'm around don't. And I was actually very social as a kid, and I fell out of it because I moved around a lot and I started to get picked on, and I was just weird. And yeah, I was trying to vent with some stuff that was going on. Yeah, I just did that by kind of being goofy and strange, and yeah, so I got picked on a bit, and that made it so I closed myself off even more. So now that's why I find it kind of hard, like the first one, difficult to introduce myself to people. You rarely do something just out of sheer curiosity. That is a strong disagree. You feel superior to other people. Nope. Not at all. In fact, the inverse was true, and I felt inferior to, like, everything. I'm slightly better now, but yeah, especially when I'm having a rough day, it's easy to fall back into that. Being organized is more important to to even finish it. This is then being adaptable. Being adaptable is far more important to me, because you can't plan everything in life. Life is life. You need to be able to maneuver yourself and have quick wit and dexterity to manage lots of different situations. You're usually highly motivated and energetic. Yes and no. I'm going to go with this one. I have 2 moods: bouncing off the walls or deep in thought contemplative. Winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset. Yeah, there's something to be said about being nice and tactful if it's just like arguing over some sort of point or whatever. I don't care if I win. Yeah, if it's like serious life advice or something, or like creative criticism, I might be a little bit more pushy with that, just because I'm trying to look out for the person's best interest, and they may not be too happy with it. And of course you have to gauge that, you know? Yeah, I'm not going to know what's best for everybody. You often feel as you have to justify yourself to other people. Kind of. I just feel like... So mildly agree. I got into the habit of overly explaining myself because I didn't really, and people would just go, huh? Your home and work environments are quite tidy. No. I need to clean up my room right now. I just never give myself enough time to. You do not mind being at the center of attention. I kind of like it. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but especially if I have a script or something to go off of, I love being up there in the center of attention. You consider yourself more practical than creative. No, I'm very creative. It's not that I'm not practical, but I'm very creative. People can rarely upset you. Yeah, that's very true. The only thing that really upsets me is if people are hurting one another. Otherwise than that, I can pretty much accept anything that you do. Your travel plans are usually well thought out. No, most of my plans aren't, and I need to get better with that. I don't like overthinking things, but to be honest, sometimes I leave too much unplanned, and part of me wants to work from a script, and that part of me freaks out. It's like either I need to work on being more adaptable, or I need to just make some sort of a plan that I can go from. It's often too difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings. Big strong negatory on that. I'm a empath. Empath and sympathy is something that's they're often used as synonyms, but, depending on which circles you ask, they're very much not one and the same. Empathy is more than just understanding people's feelings. It's like feeling other people's feelings. I know not all of you are spiritual or whatever. I get that. My own experience, if somebody is upset or happy, I feel that emotion too, as if it was my own. And a prime example of that was when my dad got very upset when his grandmother died. The grand lady, as we called her, was not somebody I knew very well. When she passed, my dad went back to her house, and it was just... her house was falling apart before she passed away, and they had to tear it down, and it was just gone. And like all his childhood memories and stuff, it wasn't there. And yeah, he got very upset, and I just felt that, and I just started bawling, even though I had absolutely no reason to. That's empathy as opposed to sympathy, which is, I understand that my dad is hurt and stuff, can respect that. One's not necessarily better than the other. Your mood can change very quickly. No, not usually. In a discussion, truth should be more important than other people's sensitivities. Mildly agree on this one. I feel like truth is relative, and you should always be considerate of other people's feelings, but I'm not going to tell somebody that I feel something's a good idea if I don't feel like it's a good idea. You're rarely worried about how your actions affect other people. Strongly disagree. I am aware that whatever I do infects everybody. No, whatever I do affects everybody, so It doesn't mean that you live your life for others, but don't be a jerk. Your work style is closer to random energy spikes than a methodical and organized approach. Yeah, but it's actually kind of changing right now, so I don't know where to put that. I'm going to put that in neutral. Life is in a constant state of flux, and I got kind of out of balance with myself. So I was doing things the way that I didn't like to do them. So it's like, yeah, you know, I don't really introduce myself to most people, even though deep down I'm actually very social and extroverted. I'm just trying to get back in step with myself. I would be more of a methodical worker, actually, dedicated and going at it. You're often envious of others. No. Lately, it's just kind of been like looking at all these people who are doing like so flippin' well, and I'm like, they didn't necessarily do anything better than the people who aren't doing so flippin' well. They just happen to be doing so flippin' well right now. And I don't feel like it's fair. It's like really hard to get noticed when you're smaller. Mostly I don't like that feeling, and they worked hard to get where they got to, and I tried to be cognizant of that. But in the dark moments, it's like, you're not better than everybody else. An interesting book or video game is often better than a social event. No. Neither agree or disagree. I like social stuff, but for me, like I was saying, being empathetic and stuff, it can be hard for me to be around big groups of people, particularly if it's a party and people are drunk. I just sort of pick up on that buzz, and it makes me feel discombobulated, and I hate it. I've never drank myself, so I can't say it's like being buzzed. But I don't want to know, especially if it's anything like that feeling. That's sort of what keeps me kind of shied away from social stuff. I still like being social. I like hanging out with people. Being able to develop a plan and stick to it is one of the most important part of every project. Is the most important. Okay, then I'm going to disagree with that. It's not the most important, but it is pretty important, so I'll only mildly disagree. You rarely get carried away by fantasies and ideas. I think from a third-person perspective, it would look that way. I don't personally feel like I get carried away by fantasies and ideas. Mostly disagree. You often find yourself lost in thought when you're walking in nature. Sort of. I get lost in nature. It's kind of cool. When you throw me like in a forest, I feel like I'm in a spider web. And I just kind of like pick up on all the things around me. So I'm going to go with mostly agree. Someone does not respond to your email quickly. You start worrying if you said something wrong. Yeah, see, for me, I have some issues with that. Particularly in relationships. You know, it was like this slow, gradual build-up. Like, we're chatting. Okay, everything's good. And then you wait, and it's still silence, and then starts to, like, build up in my head. Because I feel like people won't like me, or will just, like, up and disappear, because that's happened in my past. And so, like, if it gets too quiet, I'm like, oh, no. But I'm getting a lot better with that. Obviously, that's not a very healthy way to be. I have gotten a lot better with this. I'll say mostly disagree. If I said something that I feel might have upset them, then I'll be like, uh-oh, did I do something wrong? I was just joking. But otherwise than that, no, I'm pretty good. As a parent, you would rather see your child grow up kind than smart. Yeah, you know what? Mostly agree. I don't want them to be stupid. If that came out mean. But talking about, would you rather be kind? I'm like, I don't want you to be stupid. But yeah, having a heart is a very important thing. You do not let other people influence your actions. I have, because as I was saying earlier, I was worried that people wasn't going to like me. So I tried to go over the top to be part of the group, while also pushing myself away from the group. Yeah, it makes logical sense, right? But for the most part, I don't. So mildly disagree. Wow, sorry for that dynamic zoom. That was the trackpad being whatever. When you sleep, your dreams tend to focus on real world and its events. No, I had one dream that was my entire first day of the 6th grade in kindergarten. It does not take you much time to start getting involved in social activities in your new workplace. I can be kind of slow to warm up for reasons that I stated earlier, but I've been kind of getting better and better. So I'm going to say mildly agree, and hopefully this goes up. You're more of a natural improviser than a careful planner. Yeah, but there's a part of me that wants to be a planner. So, just mildly agree on that one. Your emotions control you more than you control them. No, mostly disagree. I don't like the word control, but yeah. I guess I let my emotions kind of dictate where I focus my attention, but I'm not going to let them make me do something too bad. You enjoy going to social events that involve dress-up or role-play activities. Heck yeah, I used to play D&D. I love dressing up. I'm an actor. I'm a giant Ken doll. Cover me up, make me all fancy. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical yet intriguing ideas. I explore things that some people may find flights of fancy, but it's exploring different philosophies and stuff like that. I don't find them fantasy in the same way that others might find them fantasy. So I'm going to say mildly disagree. You'd rather improvise than spend time coming up with a detailed plan. I mean, yeah, no. I would like to get better with planning. So, mildly disagree. You're a relatively reserved and quiet person. Yeah, I can be goofy and bouncy, but that's because I'm reserved and quiet. If you had a business, you would find it very difficult to fire loyal but underperforming employees. Yeah, that's true. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence. Now, I feel like I should say yes to this question because it will better reflect what the question's trying to get out of me. You know, like, are you a spiritual or something person? I don't really care. Life is life. Anything else is whatever. I'm going to go with mostly disagree. Or mildly disagree. Logic is usually more important than heart when it comes to making important decisions. It's just about as important. So no, neutral. Keeping your options open is more important than having a to-do list. Very much agree with that. I don't like having a to-do list as much as this is stuff must be done. Work on it. Yeah. I guess that would be a to-do list, but it's not as official. If your friend is sad about something, you are more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. It depends on if the friend needs me to suggest ways, is asking, or just wants me to lean on. So yeah, mostly agree. You rarely feel insecure. No. I'm getting better with it, but I would say mildly disagree on that. You have no difficulties coming up with a personal timetable and sticking to it. I mean, I can. It let the days get away from me. And it's weird because, yes, I'll be that guy. It's like, yes, I'm dedicated. Bam, I can do it. So deep down, I really am this guy. So I want to say mostly agree. Being right is more important than being cooperative when it comes to teamwork. Making sure that you go with a plan that's not going to completely fail, that's important too. But you need to work together with a team. And even if you're not 100% in love with the plan, if it's what everybody really wants to be doing, then do it. But if it's something that you're like 100% against, then I understand, like, it's like, no, I can't really do this. You think that everyone's views should be respected regardless of whether they are supported by facts or not. Yeah, strongly agree. Everybody should be respected and allowed to think what they do as long as they don't hurt anybody. You feel more energetic after spending time with a group of people. I can feel energized, but for the most part, no, mildly disagree. It takes energy for me to be with people. You frequently misplace your things. I need to clean my room. You find yourself as very emotionally stable. Yeah, I mostly agree. I'm pretty emotionally stable. Your mind is always buzzing with unexplored ideas and plans. Yeah, mildly agree. No, mostly agree. It's always buzzing. You would not call yourself a dreamer. No, mildly disagree. I'd say, especially from the outside, that it would look like I am a dreamer. I don't feel like my head's in the clouds, but I have a very lofty view of the world. Usually find it difficult to relax when talking in front of many people. I can, especially if the thing that I was planning on doing backfires, which is why I want to work on my improv. It's like, no, I want to work on my planning, but really I want to work on my improv. I want to work on it all. For the most part, I am very relaxed. Generally speaking, you rely more on your experience than your imagination. Yeah. Mostly agree. You worry too much about what other people think. Mildly disagree. I don't worry too much, but I guess you could say that I did worry too much. If the room is full, you stay closer to the walls, avoiding the center. Yeah. I'd like to be in the center, but it's hard, especially as an adult, because most of the time at parties there's drinking and stuff, which is hard for me to be around. You have a tendency to procrastinate until there is not enough time to do everything. No, not at all. You feel very anxious and stressful in situations. Not really, mostly disagree. You believe that it is more rewarding to be liked by others than to be powerful. I guess what it's saying is step on others to reach up in the world, and I don't agree with that, so I'm going to mildly agree with this statement. I don't feel it is super important to be liked by others, as opposed to your own personal success, as long as you're not hurting others. You have always been interested in unconventional and ambiguous things. Art, movies, yes. Just heck yes. You often take initiative in social situations. Yeah, I'm sort of like midway on this, so neutral. Yay, we did it! Your personality type is the mediator. INFP-A. I haven't heard of the A part, but no one can stop you from dreaming. I'm 51% introverted. My energy is 60% intuitive. My nature is 74% feeling. Let's see, your trait determines how we make decisions and cope with emotions. Tactics, I am 74% prospecting. I don't know what the difference between prospecting and judging is. Prospecting, which means to go searching for. Identity, which is your trait underpins all others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. I'm apparently 72% assertive as opposed to turbulent. Yeah, I sort of let myself fall out of that just because I got so worried that people wouldn't like me or my decisions. But yeah, mostly I'm assertive. Okay, this episode is probably going to be a little bit long because I have multiple parts. This is an episode for you guys to get to know me better. I'm sorry that it's longer. Thank you so much for watching it and watching it all the way through. You're a beautiful and amazing person. I hope you enjoyed this bit of the Dragon's Treasure. Pretend a like is a mic and drop it. If you haven't already, I appreciate if you should hit that sub button. Some love and stay beautiful. Sharing is caring.